美国联邦参议院外交委员会亚太小组主席访问团，马基参议员。Let's do this.
Thank you so much, and thank you for hosting.
Appreciate the process. Make this visit possible.
We think it's an important gesture to make that you have many friends, Democrat and Republican.
Apparently. A lot of friends in the U.S. Congress.
So we have Congressman John Garamendi.
加勒曼的众议员。Welcome.
From California, and we know you passed through there a few times. Always pleasure.
I was working for a U.S. lawyer who happened to be a Californian, so at some point in time I spoke English with California accent.
Proper English.
You have someone from New York and other places? No.
I was born in New York.
That's right, that counts. That counts.
Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia.
北约众议员。
See you again.
So nice to see you. Very nice dress. I'm Dr. Susan.
This is my wife.
Yes, she is. I'm Patricia Garamendi. Nice to meet you. And I'm Dr. Paulina Allen. Very nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. 戴嫣女士，我的梅先生。
I'm Hannibal Senator.
Hi, I'm Senator Markey. Please be seated.
马基主席抗力，加勒曼第众议员抗力，卢文索众议员抗力，贝尔众议员抗力，罗德维众议员抗议，各位访谈的贵宾，孙小雅处长，各位同仁，大家好。
The Honorable Ed Markey, Chairman of the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee on East Asia, the Pacific, and International Cybersecurity Policy, and Mrs. Markey. The Honorable John Garamendi, Member of the House of Representatives, and Mrs. Garamendi. The Honorable Alan Lowenthal, Member of the House, and Mrs. Lowenthal. The Honorable Don Bayer, Member of the House, and Mrs. Bayer. The Honorable Amata Coleman Raidwagon, Member of the House, and Mr. Raidwagon. Distinguished members of the delegation, Director Alford, dear colleagues, good morning.
欢迎各位来到台湾，尤其是在这样的关键时刻，各位不远千里来访，用行动表达对台湾的友谊。我要代表所有台湾人民表达欢迎以及感谢。各位长期在美国国会坚定支持台湾，都是台湾非常重要的好朋友。
I welcome you all to Taiwan. You have traveled a great distance to be here at an especially critical time. Through this concrete action, you are expressing your friendship toward our country. On behalf of the people of Taiwan, I want to welcome and thank you. You have long extended your firm support in the U.S. Congress and are valuable friends to Taiwan.
马基主席从1976年起就担任美国国会议员至今。1979年，他曾经在美国国会参与台湾关系法的审议，并且投票支持，这是促进台美关系发展的重要历程。
Chairman Markey has served in the U.S. Congress since 1976. He lent his support and his vote to the passage of the 1979 Taiwan Relations Act, which was a key step in advancing the development of Taiwan-U.S. relations.
马基主席自从担任参议院外交委员会亚太小组主席以来，对台湾的支持真是不遗余力。去年疫情期间，也积极协助台湾取得疫苗。对于马基主席坚定支持台湾的情谊，我要致上最深的感谢。
Chairman Markey, since assuming the chairmanship of the Subcommittee on East Asia, the Pacific, and International Cybersecurity Policy, you have been even more vocal in backing Taiwan. Last year, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, you actively assisted Taiwan in acquiring vaccines. I want to express my deepest gratitude for your robust support for and friendship with Taiwan.
今年俄罗斯入侵乌克兰已经凸显威权国家在世界秩序带来威胁。前一阵子，中国在台湾周边海域进行长时间的军演，也严重干扰区域的稳定和平。
Russia's invasion of Ukraine earlier this year has shown the threat that authoritarian nations pose to the global order. More recently, China has been conducting prolonged military exercises in the waters surrounding Taiwan, gravely affecting regional peace and stability.
我们不但和国际各方盟友密切合作，严密掌控周边所有的军事动态，也持续向国际社会表达台湾致力维护台海稳定的现状的决心。
We are engaging in close cooperation with international allies to closely monitor the military situation. At the same time, we are doing everything we can to let the world know that Taiwan is determined to safeguard stability and the status quo across the Taiwan Strait.
台湾和美国一直是共享民主自由价值的坚定伙伴，我们希望继续深化和美国的合作，共同维持印太区域的繁荣及稳定。
Taiwan and the U.S. are longtime and stalwart partners and share the same core values of freedom and democracy. We hope to continue strengthening cooperation with the U.S. so as to jointly maintain prosperity and stability throughout the Indo-Pacific region.
面对全球威权主义的扩张，台湾也希望和共享民主价值的国际友人深化经贸合作，共同打造更安全的供应链。
In the face of expanding global authoritarianism, Taiwan also aspires to bolster economic and trade cooperation with international friends who share our democratic values. Together, we can create even more secure supply chains.
今年6月底，台湾和美国举办台美21世纪贸易倡议的首场会谈。我们期待透过这样坚实的平台，继续深化台美经贸关系，在共享的价值基础上，和美国洽签高标准的贸易协定。期盼马基主席以及各位议员对于这项议题，在美国国会给予台湾更多的支持。
At the end of June, Taiwan and the United States held the inaugural meeting of the U.S.-Taiwan Initiative on 21st Century Trade. We look forward to advancing Taiwan-U.S. economic and trade relations even further through this robust platform. Given our shared values, we also seek to conclude a high-level trade agreement with the U.S. We hope that Chairman Markey and the members of the delegation will lend even more support to Taiwan on this issue in the U.S. Congress.
台湾在半导体产业有长期的发展累积，我们也乐意积极在美国投资布局。很高兴看到美国跨党派支持的晶片法已经完成立法，相信会为台湾的半导体业者提供更多前往美国投资的诱因。
Taiwan has developed a strong semiconductor industry over the years, and we are pleased to be actively investing in the United States. We were delighted to see bipartisan support for the passage of the CHIPS and Science Act. We believe that the act provides even more incentive for Taiwanese semiconductor companies to explore investments in the United States.
我们也希望在未来能和美国签署避免双重课税协定，共同为台美双方的相互投资创造更多的利基。最后再次感谢各位的来访，台湾会和美国共同携手，坚定地捍卫民主自由。
Looking ahead, we also hope we can sign an avoidance of double taxation agreement with the United States. This would create an even more stable foundation for mutual investments between our countries. Finally, I want to thank you all again for your visit. Taiwan will continue to work hand in hand with the United States in staunchly defending freedom and democracy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, for your kind words of welcome and for having us here today. This is my first trip to Taiwan, and I could not be more honored than to be here with you today.
总统阁下，谢谢您刚刚的美言以及对我们的欢迎词，以及在这边接待我们。这是我第一次访问台湾，真的是一份非常特殊的殊荣。
You are an historic leader, the first woman president of Taiwan, and an inspiration to women around the world.
您是一位历史上的一位台湾的第一位女性的总统，作为一位首位的女总统，对于全世界许多的女性都是一份非常大的启发。
I'm especially pleased to be joined by a very distinguished bipartisan group of members of Congress and their spouses.
我同时也非常的荣幸能够跟非常多跨党派的众议员一起能够访问台湾。
John Garamendi from California and his wife Patricia.
首先呢，就是来自加州的加勒曼蒂众议员以及他的夫人。
Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia and his wife Megan Beyer.
还有来自维吉尼亚州的贝耶众议员以及他的夫人。
Congressman Alan Lowenthal from California and his wife, Dr. Deborah Malamud.
还有卢文所众议员，来自加州的卢文所众议员以及他的夫人。
And Congresswoman Amata Radewagen from American Samoa and her husband, Fred Radewagen.
还有来自美属萨摩亚的罗德维众议员以及他的先生。
And I'm also pleased to be joined by my wife, Dr. Susan Blumenthal, who is very impressed with the diligence with which you are handling the COVID crisis.
除此之外呢，我也很荣幸，我的夫人苏珊里跟我一起前往来访问台湾，对于台湾的防疫的成就，她非常的感到了敬佩。
And of course, our great director at AIT, Sandra Oudkirk.
Of course.
除此之外呢，我也非常敬佩孙小雅处长 AIT 的孙小雅处长。
As chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Subcommittee on East Asia and the Pacific, I have long been a supporter of building closer United States ties with Taiwan.
作为参议院的亚太小组主席呢，我其实长期以来都是非常支持更进一步深化台美关系。
As you referenced, I was a member of the United States Congress in 1979, and I voted for the Taiwan Relations Act. I'm one of the few members of Congress currently still in office who proudly took that vote.
刚刚有提到，就是说我在1979年那个时候我还是众议员的时候呢，当时我就对台湾关系法投下了赞成票。我是当时参与那一次台湾关系法立法的众多的众议员当中，少数还留在国会当中服务的。
My support for the U.S.-Taiwan relationship has only strengthened in the more than 40 years since that important vote.
在那一次重要的立法之后，40年以来呢，我对于台美关系的支持只有更加的坚定。
I held the first United States Senate hearing on Taiwan in the current Congress in June of last year, and I have introduced legislation to build a Taiwan fellowship program modeled on the very successful Mansfield program that the United States has with Japan.
我其实去年在6月的时候呢，我在参议院就已经有召开一场公听会，当时就要去执行我们参考日本那一次的一次立法的一个过程呢，来去打造一个所谓的台湾学人法案。
That will make it possible that U.S. government officials can have an opportunity to live and to work in Taiwan.
透过台湾学人法案呢，我们有这样子的立法基础，可以使得美国的官员在台湾生活以及工作。
I've also introduced bipartisan legislation that supports stability measures to lower the risk of conflict in the Taiwan Strait, invest in multilateral engagement with Taiwan, and opens the door to greater self-defense cooperation.
除此之外呢，我本身也在参众两院呢，也去执行许多在台海这边的许多的稳定化的工作，使得台海这边能够降低冲突的可能，让更多的多边的参与者呢能够参与台湾的事务，并且呢能够提升台湾自我防卫的能力。
I strongly believe in our close relationship and one that will continue to flourish throughout the 21st century.
我对于台美之间的非常紧密的关系深信不疑，也相信这样子的关系在21世纪能够进一步的绽放光芒。
Taiwan is an important beacon of democracy, human rights, and free speech in a region where many are targeted every day as they stand up for those universal values.
台湾其实在比如说民主啦，还有在人权，还有言论自由等等呢，基本上都是一个自由的灯塔，我们算是一个和平的希望。然后我们也知道说这些民主的价值，其实在现在的世界当中也常常受到威胁。
Taiwan has been a leader in the fight against COVID-19 and has become a global technology and manufacturing powerhouse, particularly in semiconductors.
台湾在全球防疫当中也是一个领袖。除此之外呢，在全球的科技制造业，还有尤其是半导体产业呢，台湾更是领头羊。
The entire world benefits when Taiwan's expertise and leadership are put on display.
当台湾的领导作为以及台湾的专业能够在事业上面受到瞩目，那这样子全世界都能够获得嘉惠。
The global cooperation and training framework in particular has been a fantastic mechanism for showcasing Taiwan's talents including in the areas of public health, energy security, disaster relief, and women's empowerment.
那我们的合作及训练框架 GCTN 呢，其实也是一个非常美好、非常有效的一个机制，能够让台湾的人才能够在全世界能够有所互动。例如说像是公共卫生、能源安全，还有灾害的防救，还有女性领导力等。
And we must do more to bring Taiwan into the global discussions about how we tackle planetary challenges, including the climate crisis.
所以呢，我们必须进一步的努力，让台湾呢能够加入许多全球性的讨论，来讨论怎么样去解决许多全球性当前的问题，例如说像是气候变迁。
At this moment of uncertainty, we must do everything we can to maintain peace and stability for Taiwan.
在这个充满不确定性的时刻，我们必须要更加的努力来确保台湾的和平以及稳定。
With these combined efforts, we have managed to maintain peace across the Taiwan Strait.
透过我们的合作以及努力，我们也成功的维持了台海这边的和平稳定。
We have a moral obligation to do everything we can to prevent an unnecessary conflict, and Taiwan has demonstrated incredible restraint and discretion during challenging times.
我们有一项道德义务，就是要有任何不必要的冲突，我们必须要积极的去防范。那台湾在这方面也展现了许多自制力、许多的智慧，尤其是在因应最大的挑战的时刻。
There's a quote about friendship from one of our most famous American thinkers from my home state of Massachusetts, Henry David Thoreau.
我们麻州呢，就有一个很著名的思想家，也是我们的一个老朋友，叫做 Henry Thoreau。他曾经针对友谊呢讲过一句话。
It says, "Friends, they cherish one another's hopes. They are kind to one another's dreams."
所谓的朋友呢，就是会彼此珍惜彼此的希望，并且对于彼此的梦想呢，我们都会非常的慈爱。
We are looking forward to hearing from you and your colleagues, Madam President, about your hopes and dreams and how we can further strengthen the friendship between the United States and Taiwan, which is shared in our rooted commitment to human rights values.
接下来我也很期待倾听蔡总统及许多的台湾的同僚们呢，来倾听各位在台湾有哪一些的梦想以及希望，让我们能够知道我们还能够多做些什么来进一步强化台美关系。因为我们台美关系呢，其实深植在我们的一个很重要的基础，也就是我们对于人权价值的承诺。
We want to hear from you how we can work together to keep peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait.
我也想要进一步向各位倾听，了解我们如何进一步合作来维持台海的和平稳定。
We are very pleased to be here and standing with you, President Tsai, and to stand with Taiwan and this senior, bipartisan, bicameral delegation looks forward to our discussion today.
我非常的荣幸能够在这边跟蔡总统同台站在一起，跟台湾站在一起。我们这个代表团是资深的跨党派也跨院的一个访问团。
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
谢谢总统。